The game is intended to be played as a roguelike, but you can save at your convenience. This is a story about choices and consequences. Progress comes from surviving decisions, not perfect outcomes. This is Under the Heavens. And this is the prologue for the game. If you would like to check it out, there is a link in the description. Add it to your Steam wishlist and so on and so forth if you so desire. And maybe there's a demo, I actually don't know. Whether there is one publicly available, but the developer reached out and I was like, yes, give it to me right now, because this is a narrative game and I absolutely love narrative games, so let's do this. The 7 states at war. Borders don't exist anymore, not really. Just blood-soaked ground that changes hands every season. River valleys, mountain passes. Land men die, or without ever knowing why. Armies blacken the plains, while famine hollows the cities. Villages erased, the land itself burned and poisoned, until nothing remains but ash. Every year, some new general's name spreads like wildfire. He'll end the war, they say. He'll unify the realm. Every year, the earth swallows him whole. This is the age the scribes record with shaking hands, where triumph is just a different kind of ruin, where survival isn't something you're owed, it's something you take. In this storm of kings and generals, one truth stands above all others. The realm devours the weak, and now the chronicle finds a new name. Yours. At dawn, the first oath awaits. 7 banners, 7 kingdoms locked at each other's throats. No one knows which will stand when the dust settles. Choose a kingdom to learn more before you swear. Alright, so I don't really know that much about the Warring States period, so just bear that in mind. I am not a historian in any way. And the only thing I kind of know about this is I'm not sure. Is this set in the same? No, I'm not gonna say it. All right, so let's actually let's select Han, I guess. Let's see what happens. Ooh, yes. Look at this. Look at this. We actually get actual stats. We get stats for this. So this is very cool. So the old heart of the realm, surrounded on every side. As you can see, Han is literally this. Well, actually, the smallest faction that we can see right there, squeezed by stronger neighbors, yet still refusing to disappear. Han favors endurance, restraint, and survival under pressure. So we can swear to them, or we can choose another kingdom. I think we'll take a look. I feel like we should go for Wei, or maybe Zhao. I don't know. I feel like Wei at the moment, but maybe not. Let's have a look. A state of discipline and structure, they hold the center not through strength alone, but through coordination and control. Wei favors order, cohesion, and calculated warfare, tendencies Unity +1 and Formation +1. Now, I don't know what any of these stats or attributes do, so it might be a good idea just to have a look-see here. Forged on the northern frontier, generations of war against the steppe have hardened both soldiers and commanders. Zhao favors resilience, awareness, and knowing the enemy before they strike. Alright, I think that sounds pretty cool. Maybe we should go with them, or we could go for Yan, or I don't know. It depends on if we want to go for something completely different that I have no idea about. So maybe something like this. Ooh, this might be cool. A rising Western power built on reform. That's my name, kind of. Yeah. Anyway, discipline and relentless expansion. They do not slow. They do not stop. Chin. It's not. I know it's not a Q sound. I know it's not a hard K sound. Or at least I think so. Anyway, favors structure, efficiency, and crushing momentum. That's pretty cool. Maybe we want to go for that. Yeah. Yeah, what about Yan all the way in the top there? Isolated in the far north, cut off, outmatched, yet still standing through stubborn defiance and necessity, Yan favors unpredictability, maneuver, and survival through adaptation. And we gain compassion and flanking. Flanking might be pretty cool. Let's do that. There we go. The northern edge, isolated, desperate, still standing because they refuse to fall. The oath is sealed to Yan. There is no ceremony beyond this, no witness but the war itself. From this moment on, your victories and your failures will carry its name. Your father shaped your life. What trade forged the hands that now reach for a weapon? Choose a path to understand it before you decide. Alright, so I'm going to go for Blacksmith's Son, for sure, 100%. Heat, pressure, repetition. You learn that everything can be shaped, and everything can break. Force matters, precision matters more. Yes, aggressive and discipline, yes. Let's do it. Your father worked iron until his hands couldn't close. You grew up in the forge, learning to read metal, judge weight, and understand that everything breaks under enough pressure. He died coughing blood from years of breathing smoke. You remember what he taught you. Strike hard, strike true. Don't hesitate. Your story begins in the traces left by a blacksmith, shaped by honed strength and a feel for weight and force. There is no changing where you came from, only what you make of it now. Steel defines fate. Most soldiers are handed a spear and told to hold the line. That is how armies survive. But before this, you held something else. Not long enough to master it, just enough to know how it answers your hand. Every weapon serves the same purpose. Each leaves its mark in a different way. Choose a weapon to understand it before you decide. Yeah, well, I know what I'm going for. A glaive. I'm gonna go for a glaive straight away. Heavy, exposed, and decisive. The glaive rewards commitment, strength, and the will to break through before the enemy can recover. You do not test a line, you split it. Aggressive, pressure, +1, yes, accept this weapon. You claim the glaive. Its weight settles into your bones, carrying the mark of heavy commitment and the will to break through hardened lines. From this moment on, your hands will learn its language, and it will learn yours. Okay, enter your name. Enter your name. Okay, okay. What do I do? Should I literally just? Okay, I'm gonna use one of my characters' names here. One of my many characters in the Beartailed clan. We're gonna just call him Bruce. There we go. He's my, shall we say? I don't know. Usually he ventures into Japan, but this is obviously not Japan. This is China. So, yes. Your oath is sealed. The chronicle awaits Bruce. The military high command of Yan. 7 banners. These banners are not symbols, they are weight. The first banner belongs to the Supreme Commander, Wei Liao, the Grand Architect. Not a man, but a force carved from the spine of Yan, tempered in wars that broke entire kingdoms. When Wei Liao speaks, courts fall silent. When he moves, borders shift. Veterans who survived 30 battles will tell you the same thing. The Supreme Commander doesn't fight wars. The Supreme Commander reshapes the world. Beside this colossus stand the great generals, figures whose shadows alone have broken sieges and emptied walls. And we have Guao Kai, I think is how you say it. I don't know, could be wrong. The Silent Viper, a commander whose presence on the field tilts battles before the first blade is drawn. Enemy generals see Guao Kai's banner and reconsider their strategies. Allied soldiers see it and fight like they're immortal. This is leadership perfected. And then we also have Xin Wan. Xin Wan? I'm not saying that right. Anyway, the young tiger, where Guao Kai is the hammer, Xin Yuan. Yuan? I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to pronounce these correctly, so, that's just how it goes. Anyway, hopefully you'll forgive me. Is the blade in the dark, precise, devastating, impossible to predict. Entire campaigns have turned on a single order spoken once, then never repeated. To stand in Xin Yuan's command is to learn that war is not chaos. War is a language, and this general speaks it fluently. Alright, so press the J Dragon to open the High Command scroll and learn more about the military leadership. Okay, so beneath them, the generals hold the realm together. Guardians of the passes, rivers, and borders where common soldiers die by the thousands. So we have Kai Feng, Guao Liang, Yue Yi, as well as Jiang Hong, and yes, I probably butchered every single one of those pronunciations. Oh, dearie me. Anyway, these are the officers who transform orders into victory, who hold formations when everything screams to break and run. Their names appear in battlefield reports stained with blood and mud. Soldiers pray to reach their standards, enemies pray to avoid them. These are the titans under whose banner you will march. Their names are legend. Yours is still unwritten. The morning drums rise like thunder rolling across distant hills. After 3 days on a dusty wagon rattling over fields and empty way stations, you can now see it as the mist lifts in the distance. The Yan recruitment grounds. You step down from the carriage, the air tastes of dust, sweat, and sharpened purpose. Your training begins at first light. The camp swallows you whole. Training yards stretch like scars across the earth, crowded with recruits staggering beneath weighted poles as instructors roar for tighter ranks. Spears crash into wooden frames. Mud cakes the legs of those too slow to rise. Bodies hitting the ground again and again until the lesson is learned. Nearby, a pair of veterans drag a collapsed recruit to the side without a word, leaving him in the shade to recover or to reconsider his future. You walk past the kitchen area where fires are burning from dawn until dusk. Smoke clings to everything in its path. Beyond them lie the lodgings, cramped spaces filled with the restless breathing of men and women who fear tomorrow more than yesterday. The reality settles into your bones. This place is not built to welcome you. It is meant to strip away anything you may have been unsure about. For the first time since leaving home, a thought cracks through. Have you stepped onto the right path? Day 1. Arrival. The muster horns sound before the sun has fully risen, a low, violent note that rolls through the dormitory and drags every man to his feet. Recruits stumble into the hallways, rushing to grab their gear and get ready. They run to the training yards, bumping each other in tight spaces. One recruit almost gets trampled and finds himself quickly regaining his footing. The others don't even look back. They are already moving forward, following the sound of the horns and the crowd. You do not know what the protocol is, so you follow the only rule that seems clear. Move when everyone else moves. Cold air meets you outside. The yard is already filling with bodies trying to arrange themselves into something resembling order. You take a place in a loose line beside 4 strangers. No one looks certain. Hands are just grips. Feet shift restlessly in the dirt. A few older soldiers move through the ranks, correcting posture with quiet efficiency. Then the murmurs begin to fade. So choices shape who you become, your future and your units. Responds not to single, and I didn't read it fast enough. Well, basically, choices actually matter in this game, apparently, so I'm very, very interested and intrigued about that. 100-man Captain Liang stands at the edge of the yard. His face does not show emotion. He doesn't say hello. He doesn't tell what they're going to do. He simply calls out, "Lines of 5, forward march." Everyone starts moving as a group. You step forward with the others, but your line immediately begins to drift. The man to your left walks too wide. The one ahead shortens his stride. Someone in the rear nearly collides into you. Across the yard, the veterans move with clean precision, their spacing exact, their rhythm unbroken. Your section is not among them. How do you move? Alright, so study the veterans and adapt, I would say, right? Hold steady, let them match your pace, or correct them, force the line straight. Well, I feel like we should probably either hold steady and let them match your pace, or study the veterans and adapt. That's probably the way to go there. I think we'll just study them and adapt. That was my first inclination, at least. Let's see. Outcomes are resolved by a role, influenced by your traits, officers, preparation, and more. Okay, I couldn't read the rest of the message, but there you go. We got a nice little descriptor of what is going to happen when we actually make decisions. Instead of forcing your section, you watch the veterans across the yard. You mirror their stride, their posture, their pacing, and allow your line to recalibrate around you. The yard fills with the sound of marching feet as the instructor, Liang, steps into the formation, his silence weighing heavier than any shouted command. Okay, come on, give me a 20. I believe it's a D20 that we're rolling right now. Success with cost. The rhythm comes unevenly, but it comes. Your line stabilizes after several strained adjustments, and the spacing finally holds. Your shoulders ache from the constant corrections, and sweat stings your eyes. But you do not lose alignment again. Captain Liang pauses near your column just long enough to confirm that it will not break. You are not precise, but you endured the drill. Day 2, the grind. Your shoulders still scream from yesterday's formation, but you held the line. That memory carries you forward. Before the sun clears the horizon, the yard is already alive. Training posts ring as recruits drive blunted weapons into scarred wood, the sound rolling outward in waves, shaped by thousands of arms that came before them. Rows of weighted dummies stand rigid in the dirt. Recruits flood into position as instructors move through the lines like predators, wooden rods ready to crack down on lazy stances or wandering focus. Each strike must land clean. One mistake, and you will feel pain. Okay, open the Chronicle to review how your actions are being recorded. Oh, hello. And we've got some very cool depictions of our characters that we know here. Aha. Okay, so how do I see that actually? How do I open the... Is this the Chronicle right here? Oh, this might be... Aha. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so as you can see right here, we do have the kind of like overview of where our father came from and everything. And we, as you see here, have strength, active, wounded, gravely wounded, dead. And you can see that we have different roles, trusted officers, promising soldiers. And you can see here that we obviously have, you know, who's wounded, who's gravely wounded, and so on and so forth. It says here, severely injured soldiers at risk of death. Some may never return to the ranks. Okay. Yeah, here we go. All right, another drill is incoming for us. The air shakes with impact. Spears thud, swords slam, the ground vibrates beneath bodies still learning how to move as extensions of steel. Sweat drips into the dust. Arms fail, grips slip. No one is allowed to stop. The drill is not about skill. It is about endurance and will. Your turn comes. At first, the blunted weapon feels heavier than it probably should. How do you face the drill? Match his rhythm, perfect control, drive every strike, maximum force, or watch the best and learn? Drive every strike, maximum force. Let's do that. We've got a lot of aggression. We do have aggressive tendencies, so we might as well do that, right? There we go. You commit fully to every strike, turning repetition into pressure. Each blow lands heavier than the last, testing endurance and resolve. The drill becomes a trial, not just of form, but of how much physical power you can produce without losing control of your body. The instructor passes by your position as you hold your stance, the shadows of his body crossing yours, as he watches to see if your stance will continue in spite of fatigue. This is no longer about the first strike. It is about the 50th. Let's roll. Please, a d20, please. Oh, I got a 4. Are you serious? Are you serious that I got a 4? Are you? Come on now. Critical failure. Oh, no. Your sword hits the post at an awkward angle. The crack of wood on wood sounds all wrong. Momentum jolts your wrist, causing a sharp stabbing pain through your entire arm before you can even begin to recover. As soon as you're able to stand again, the instructor's rod comes down hard on your back. He is teaching you. You fall to the ground, tasting dirt and humiliation. His voice cuts like a blade. Again. And this time, don't embarrass yourself. Okay, well, can we do it again? Can I please do it again? Because I might roll better the next time. Anyway, we'll see. Early in the morning, you don't wake to the horn. You wake to violence. The barracks doors slam open. Lantern lights cutting through the dark. Up. Inspection. 2 minutes. No one fully understands the command, but everyone moves. Hands fumble, blankets twist. Sleep hasn't left your body yet, but time already has. Across from you, a recruit is failing. His blanket won't fold right. He keeps restarting, making it worse each time. The instructor is moving down the row. You only have seconds. What do you do? All right. Yeah, well, we're lock in your own space, make it perfect, snap at him, force him to get it right, fix his mistake. I think we should probably... Should we fix his mistake? Let's fix his mistake. Let's actually see what happens, because as far as I'm aware, this game has no wrong answers when it comes to decisions that you're going to make. You have to live with every single decision that comes along, and it is not a case of you being like, oh, you chose this, well, now you're going to fail, you know. And yeah, you can fail, of course, but there is no sort of instant game over as far as I'm aware whenever you select something. So you can choose whatever you want, and things will happen differently every single time. So I think that's really fun. Anyway, we're going to fix this mistake. You step in fast. Your hands are steady where his are not. You fold the blanket with clean precision, correcting the angles and smoothing the wrinkles before the instructor can see. The fold snaps into place just before the instructor arrives. He exhales like he's been drowning. You're already back in position. The instructor reaches your row. He stops. His eyes look your way, then moves on. Not everyone is as fortunate. The inspection passes like a storm. No one speaks after the horror of the inspection. They just prepare for the rest of the day, quietly. Day 3, breaking point. Your wrist throbs still. The instructor's stick left a redness that pulsates with every breath, visibly marking you as a failure. The other recruits see it. You see it. The horns sound long before dawn. Every recruit in your barracks is already awake. No one slept properly after the inspection. Packs are thrown onto shoulders so quickly that the straps bite before you can adjust them. It is way too heavy for bodies that have not yet been tested. None of the instructors offer any mercy. Form ranks, move. The march begins without ceremony. You cross uneven ground, slick with morning frost. Mud clings to your boots. Loose stones twist ankles. The lines stretch out in front of you, snaking like an injured snake over the rolling hills. With each step, the weight of the pack gets heavier. It seems like the earth itself is trying to drag you under. Instructors stand along the column. Anybody that stumbles will be shoved back up to standing position. Anyone who falls risks being trampled. Already, some of the recruits ahead are gasping for air, their spirits breaking faster than their muscles. Time blurs together as hours turn into an endless grind. Your throat burns, your legs shake, and your sweat chills your spine. The pack on your shoulders is eating away at you. You have no idea what your final destination might look like. All you see is the seemingly endless road and one harsh reality. The army does not slow down for the weak. How do you endure? Okay, well, we're going to push to the front, dominate, help the struggling recruit share the burden, pace yourself, save your strength. I think pacing ourselves is probably the way to go here, to be honest. I think that's probably going to get us the best result, hopefully. So let's do that. You get into a consistent cadence. You will not allow yourself to be goaded on by the pace of the recruits in front of you. Your breathing is controlled. Your footfalls are measured. The march continues on, and the instructors wander around the perimeter of the marchers in silence. Every step, every uneven breath, every time someone stumbles is being watched by the instructors to determine who will be able to endure the physical burden and who has already given up under it. Okay, come on now. We got it. We got a critical success right there. Oh yeah, there we go. The march stretches for hours, yet your stride remains controlled and deliberate. Where others stumble, you adjust. Where the ground shifts, you adapt. The pack never drags you off balance. One instructor watches you for several steps before moving on. You do not slow. You do not break. By the time you return to the barracks, the sun has already begun to fall. The march has stripped conversation from the group. No one speaks as you step inside. You notice something is different. New signs have been nailed into the wooden beams with an official seal. At the bottom of each, a name. Supreme Commander of Yan, Wei Liao. You step closer and read. We do not have excess. Every step must count. Waste nothing, not effort, not life. The words settle heavier than the pack on your shoulders. This is how Yan wages war, and these are the standards you will be measured against for the rest of your life. Day 4, First Blood. Yesterday's march revealed something. When others faltered, your body found reserves you didn't know existed. The instructor's gaze lingered over you with an air of recognition, of potential. Now you move through the morning with a dangerous clarity, understanding for the first time that you might actually belong here. But belonging means the standards just got higher. By midday, the yard hums with a harsh, uneven rhythm. Wooden practice weapons clap against each other in sharp, cracking bursts that echo across the camp. Recruits form loose circles where pairs collide in messy, desperate exchanges. Splinters fly, bruises bloom. Instructors walk among the circles, using their long wooden staves to bring an end to every sound whenever they struck the ground. Their eyes took in everything, from dropped hands to poor footwork, from fear masquerading as caution. You step into the circle. Your partner mirrors your stance. Both of you know what comes next. The pressure falls on your shoulders. This is the first time you will strike at another person with intent, even if the wood is blunted. No one here is an enemy, yet every blow still lands with the force of survival. Your spar partner steps forward. Their hands are shaking, and so are yours. The instructor raises his staff. Begin. How do you approach the spar? Well, we're going to probably read them, exploit openings. That's pretty good. We can press hard, force them back. That is aggression. We do have a lot of aggression, but the last time we did anything aggressive, it actually backfired and wasn't particularly good for us. So I'm a little bit worried about doing that, but I'm going to do that. You surge in with force, each swing backed by everything you have left from the march. The other recruit stumbles under your advance, struggling to keep pace. The clash of wood echoes across the yard. Your muscles remember days of punishment. Your partner's eyes are wide with the same exhaustion you feel in your bones. Then, a horn. The alarm horn. Every single recruit instantly stops swinging their weapon. Wooden weapons hang in the air, like questions no one knows how to answer. The instructor's head immediately turns to the entrance of the training grounds. Weapons down, fall in. Chaos erupts in the training yard. Some recruits immediately drop their arms and run towards the formation line. Others stand paralyzed, waiting for orders that aren't coming fast enough. Your instructor doesn't wait for confusion to settle. Border raid, he yells. Enemies have breached our perimeter. All capable recruits to the south wall. Move! At first, the recruits can't understand what he means by border raid. A border raid? Right now? During training? It takes a few moments, but eventually it clicks into place. This is no drill. Around you, recruits are stumbling over their own feet. Someone vomits from sudden fear. The instructors are already arming themselves with real steel. Your heart is pounding hard against your chest. This is what you trained for. Except you've only trained for 3.5 days. 3 choices flash through your mind. Get steel, go to the armory now, form the other recruits up, stop the panic, shadow the instructor, he knows what he's doing. Well, we're going to go to the armory, of course. You sprint toward the weapons tent. If you're going to fight, you need steel, not wood. You break from the group and sprint toward the weapons tent. Your legs burn from yesterday's march, but fear is a better fuel than rest ever was. The armory is chaos. Veterans reach for steel first. Recruits reach where they shouldn't. Spears clatter as hands collide, orders overlapping, no one sure whose turn comes next. A junior officer shouts commands meant for a smaller crowd. They arrive too late, overlap, contradict. The system wasn't built for this many bodies at once. You spot a rack of spears. Well, we should probably restore order first, help the junior officer, because, I mean, I think that's probably the way to go, right? Listen. You slam your hand against the weapon rack. The clang cuts through the panic. The young officer looks at you quickly. A flash of relief appears on his face. You both start organizing what was becoming a chaotic mess into somewhat of an orderly line. Spears are handed down in order of seniority. The veterans first, recruits second. It isn't clean, but no one is trampled. No one bleeds out from their own stupidity. When the tent finally empties, you grab the last spear. The junior officer nods once. South wall, now. You feel the spear in your hands. It has real weight, a very sharp edge. The wood of the practice weapons felt like toys compared to this. Your hands remember the drills, barely. 3.5 days of muscle memory fighting back against the rush of adrenaline and fear. The south wall rises ahead. The veterans are already moving. You're just trying not to trip over your own feet. You reach the south wall. The scene is smaller than you expected, which somehow makes it worse. Not an army. Maybe 30 raiders, light cavalry moving fast and already pulling back after torching an outer supply shed. Smoke rises in a black pillar. The camp's veteran garrison is already responding. Shields up, archers knocking arrows. The raiders wheel their horses, testing for weakness, looking for an opening that isn't there. This isn't a full assault. It's a raid. A probe, a message. They're measuring you. 100-man Captain Liang surveys his defenses from atop the wall. His eyes sweep the raiders, then sweep the green recruits now clutching weapons they barely know how to hold. He makes a decision. Recruits, his voice cuts through the tension. Hold this wall, he says. Veterans with me. We're running them down before they report back. Wait. He's leaving you here. 30 recruits, maybe 10, who've held a weapon for more than 4 days. Against the possibility that the raiders aren't retreating, that this is bait, that more are coming. The veterans pour off the wall, mounting horses, forming pursuit. The thunder of hooves fades. Everything settles. The rest of the camp feels very far away. You are holding the wall now. One of the recruits beside you whispers, "Did they really leave us here?" Another, "What if more come?" The sun beats down. Smoke is rising into the air. The wall is yours, and no one is coming to save you if it goes wrong. We hold, that's the order. Yeah, I mean, we could say any of these actually, and this is all pretty good to be honest, but we're gonna say we hold, that's the order. There we go, yes, you respond with a tone that is factual, neutral, and does not give anyone reason to question your orders. The recruit next to you takes a moment to swallow hard, then nods in response. He tightens his grip on his spear. The line settles, not confident, but present. 2 hours. 2 hours of staring at an empty field while your hands sweat on a spear you prayed you wouldn't have to use. 2 hours of every shadow looking like a rider. 2 hours of recruits asking if the veterans are coming back. They do come back. All of them. With blood, but alive. The raiders are gone, scattered or dead. Captain Liang rides past the wall, sees 30 recruits still standing where he left them. He nods, ever so slightly, but you feel it. That night, no one talks about the spar. They talk about the wall, about the alarm, about the way their hands shook when they thought they might actually have to kill someone. After dinner, Captain Liang comes over and gives you a whetstone. "You need to sharpen your practice blade," he says. Then quietly, "You did not crack under pressure today like most do on the day the horns blow." He walks away before you can respond. The whetstone sits heavy in your hand. The instructor saw something in you this morning. Now he knows he was right. So do you. Tomorrow, training continues. Day 5, Reading Ground. Yesterday, something shifted during the spar. The rhythm, the reading, the instructor noticed. You saw it in his eyes. Don't let it go out. The instructors take the recruits further from the front gate of the main yard, through rows of tents and the fires burning early in the day, onto mixed ground that has been worn down by years of marching soldiers. Trees are scattered about the land at random intervals. Tall blades of grass wave back and forth with each gust of wind as you follow dirt pathways that twist sharply into unexpected low points and hills. This is not a neat formation drill. It's an area where soldiers trip up, disappear, or get killed when they can't read the land under them. The recruits fan out in all directions in a large semicircle. The smell of wet dirt and crushed pine needles fills the air. Somewhere ahead of you, crows erupt into flight. Their calls echo through the air like warning signals. Instructors bark orders. Move. Observe. Nothing here is what it seems. The drill begins. A recruit stumbles into a shallow hole masked by grass. Another slips on loose gravel. Farther ahead, a pair weave between trees and vanish briefly over a hidden ridge. The ground is a trap for the careless. Your own lane stretches into shadows and sunlight, a shifting pattern of hazards waiting to catch you off guard. How do you navigate the terrain? Well, read the ground, anticipate the danger, guide the others, call out hazards. Read the ground, anticipate danger, guide the others. I don't know. Either way, I mean, moving fast, trust your reflexes. I don't trust my reflexes. So I'm thinking we're probably going to read the ground, anticipate danger. There we go. You read the earth like a whispered map. Grass patterns, soil color, and the angle of roots guide your steps. Every danger feels a breath slower than your instincts. The instructors watch from higher ground, arms folded, their gaze sweeping across the shifting field. Every stumble is marked. Every clean adjustment is noted. The land shows you how careless you are much quicker than any enemy. What do you bet I'm going to roll a 1? Oh, that is just as bad. The ground deceives you completely. What appears to be firm underfoot turns into a hole, and you slide down it while trying to stop yourself. Dirt fills your mouth, and your weapon tears from your grip. An instructor yells through the trees, "In battle, that is where you die." You get to your feet again, dirt still in your mouth, and each one of your fellow recruits has seen you make a mistake. Day 6. The Eye. The Earth's betrayal yesterday still burns, dirt in your mouth, the instructor's eyes tracking your collapse. Through the night, you traced every misstep in your mind. The grass patterns you missed, the soil you misread, the ground that swallowed your confidence whole. Other recruits sleep, you study. At dawn, you know terrain better than you know yourself, but knowing and doing are different beasts. Today proves which one you've mastered. The air inside the training grounds feels different today, tighter, charged. Recruits gather in a wide circle while instructors drag heavy crates, wooden barricades, and painted banners into position. The ground becomes a crude imitation of a battlefield, complete with choke points, cover, and narrow lanes where panic thrives. No one speaks. Even the most talkative recruits fall silent, realizing this is not a drill, but a judgment. A captain steps forward. His armor is worn, his eyes colder than the rest of the instructors. He surveys the recruits with a gaze that cuts through to the core of who they are. This is a battlefield. Treat it as such. He signals. Instantly, the simulation erupts. Instructors strike shields to mimic enemy charges. Painted arrows whistle through the air, loosed by hidden archers. Recruits scatter, collide, shout warnings, or freeze entirely. Chaos blooms like fire racing through dry grass. The officers watch from the perimeter, arms folded behind their backs, reading every movement, every hesitation, every instinct. No one tells you what to do. The entire test is about who you are when orders vanish and only instinct remains. Ahead of you, a recruit trips near a barricade. To your left, another rushes forward, unsure whether to hide or advance. Behind you, mock arrows rain against the dirt. A gap opens in their chaotic line. What rises in you at this moment? Alright, so we can disrupt them, step through, assess first, or take the gap, form a hold. Charge. Let's charge them. Aggression. Come on now. Aggression. You sprint into the breach, driving forward as if a real enemy waits just beyond the barricades. The instructors shout at the sudden force of your advance, but you do not falter. The captain's hand rises, and the battlefield illusion dissolves into silence. The dust has not yet settled when the officers begin their inspection, walking between recruits as if counting survivors after a real clash. Their attention stops on you. Oh dear, I did something wrong, didn't I? I have a bad feeling about this. No, actually, maybe it's good. When the chaos broke open, you answered it without hesitation. Your movement shaped the flow of those around you, closing the gap before it widened and forcing the surge to bend around your position. As the dust settles, one officer exchanges a brief glance with the captain. It is not praise. It is recognition. Night falls with a different weight after today. Just the low noise of people settling in for the night, boots stacked near tents, armor straps loosened. Someone hums a tune you can't identify. He stops humming before finishing it. Nearby, a pair of recruits sit on overturned crates, rubbing salve into bruised shoulders. I heard the real unit drills don't start for another week. Actually, for another month. I don't know why I said week, one of them says. The other snorts. Good. Gives me time to stop shaking every time someone yells. A pause. Think they'll move us to the eastern yard after this? Probably. That's where they keep the ones who don't wash out. The conversation drifts. Complaints about food, about sleep, about how long it'll take before the body stops hurting all the time. The fires burn low. The camp settles into the kind of quiet that suggests routine, repetition, and weeks of the same waiting ahead. For the first time since arriving, it feels like this might actually become normal. Day 7, necessity. The officer's look yesterday was recognition, like spotting potential carved in stone that just needs the right pressure to reveal its shape. That moment sits in your chest now, burning steady. You moved through chaos with purpose, while others scattered. The captain noticed. One of the officers noticed. Now you carry that knowledge into today, with dangerous clarity. You might actually be good at this. And that's more terrifying than failure ever was. The shouting begins before the sun rises. The sounds are sharp and frantic, carrying a fear that has no place in training. Recruits spill from tents. Some run, some freeze. Officers push past, in half-secured armor, carrying scrolls, banners, and weapons meant for real war, not practice. There is something very wrong. A formation captain climbs onto a supply crate. His armor is dented, mud still clinging to it as if he came from a battlefield rather than a camp. He pulls out a roll of parchment. The yard falls silent. He reads the first name. A recruit steps forward, stiff with fear. He reads another, then doesn't stop. Recruits exchange looks, but no one understands. Some whisper, voices cracking with dread. Someone near you mutters, "Are they culling us?" Another whispers, 7 days. We must have failed. The names continue. Too many. Far too many. Your heartbeat climbs with each one called. Then your name cuts through the air like a blade. Your stomach drops. Did you falter? Were your efforts not enough? You step forward into the tense quiet, every eye on you. A few recruits look away, afraid of being called next. The captain's expression is unreadable. Only when the last name is spoken does he finally lower the scroll. He looks at the gathered group, voice heavy as iron. The border brigade has been shattered. A ripple passes through the yard like a shockwave. The enemy crossed the border 2 nights ago. They struck fast, aiming for the grain basin behind the waterway. Our brigade broke. Many officers fell. Too many. He scans your faces. None of you breathe. The Supreme Commander Wei Liao has ordered General Kai Feng to hold the Ji River. A new force must form immediately from the troops around the region. We do not have time for more training. He steps down, boots thudding against the crate, as if sealing your fate. This week was not about brilliance. It was about enduring long enough to be shaped into something useful. Captain Liang approaches, standing close enough for you to feel his breath. The air tightens around your throat. Every choice you made these past days carved a path through you, he says quietly. Not a glorious one, not yet, but a real one. That path has taken form. Now we see if it holds under war. His voice sharpens. By necessity of war, you are promoted to 5-man leader. And we've developed a new trait, apparently. We've developed a new trait. What is the new trait? Can I tell? I don't know. Iron Command. You lead through force. When you press the attack, when you hammer forward, men feel your certainty in the chaos. Iron bends or breaks. It never learns to yield. All right, so we got a cool trait right there. I have no idea what it does. Ah, there we go. It literally says Iron Command right there. That's very cool. All right, that's fun. Captain Liang speaks the words that will define you. You lead through for... Oh, I actually just... Never mind. I actually just read that out. All right, so... His grip on your shoulder tightens, almost painful. In the past 7 days, you found something in yourself you didn't know was there. He releases you. Now sharpen it into a blade. His eyes bore into yours one last time. Your men are waiting. You have no time to think about what that means. The camp transforms in minutes. Drums beat evacuation orders. Armor is thrown from crates. Recruits collide in the mud, scrambling for straps that never quite fit. A junior logistics officer pushes through the chaos and shoves a bundle into your arms. Your first file? 4 names. 4 faces you recognize from the yard. One with sharp eyes, the one instructors watch too closely. One steady, quiet, always where he needed to be. 2 others stiff with fear, pretending it isn't there. They're yours now, the officer says. Keep them alive long enough and they might earn names worth remembering. He turns away mid-sentence, already shouting at someone else. You face the 4 recruits. They do not stand evenly. One is too far forward, one hangs back, one avoids your eyes entirely. Wei Jun studies you instead of the marching columns. They made you 5-man leader, he says carefully. Why? The question is not accusation. It is calculation. The one who spoke too fast adds, We all survived the week, so what did you do differently? Zhu Liang does not speak. He is watching your answer more than the others. Alright, okay, okay, we got a bunch of different choices right here. I actually have no clue, to be honest. Because I didn't break, does it matter? We either survive together or we don't. You think I asked for this? Because I didn't break? I mean, I feel like we all didn't break, really, to be honest. So I'm just going to say, does it matter? We either survive together or we don't. You shift the file bundle in your hands. They chose me. That doesn't change what we are. 5 bodies in one line. Wei Jun exhales slowly. Then don't waste us. Your file fall into step behind you. The column is already forming beyond the tents. Lines of soldiers tightening into something that resembles an army rather than a camp. You merge with the marching ranks. Mounted messengers tear out of the camp. Banners snapping in the hard wind. General Kai Feng gathers forces near the Ji River. The enemy advances faster than expected. A shattered brigade retreats toward the crossing, leaving gaps that must be filled. You are sent to stand where others failed to hold. And here is the world. Alright, so the continent enters another uneasy season. The banners of the 7 states rise and fall in quiet tension, each kingdom watching the next with narrowed eyes. Rumors spread across the northern plains that the silence from Qin is not peace, but preparation. Their armies have withdrawn from border skirmishes, and their forges burn hotter than before. Some believe Qin is gathering strength for a sudden campaign against Zhao. Others whisper that Qin seeks a deeper target and hides its intentions behind disciplined stillness. To the south, the great state of Chu struggles under the weight of internal fractures. A new supreme commander has taken the helm, reshaping their high command. Old alliances tremble beneath this appointment. Vassal lords question where Chu's loyalties now lie, and the neighboring states prepare for the shock of its next move. In the west, Wei and Han trade blows across disputed farmland. Neither gains ground. Both strain their treasuries and empty their armories in a struggle that drains them more than their rivals. Along the northern coast, Yan gathers forces in secret. Spies report increased troop movements and unfamiliar banners rising in their camps. No one knows their aim. Will Yan betray its fragile alliance with Qi, or will it strike at Zhao to exploit its weakness while Qin waits in the dark? Some believe Yan watches the growing tension, waiting for the first misstep before deciding whom to support and whom to bleed. All across the land, border forts brace for storms of steel. Every commander reads the shifting winds with suspicion. The balance of the 7 states rests on rumors carried by frightened messengers and spies who vanish before their reports are confirmed. This is the continent you march upon, a land where decisions made in distant courts can swallow entire armies. The first stand, the march to the river. The march to the Ji River is nothing like the drills of training. It feels heavier, darker. Cold wind cuts through the ranks and settles into the bones of every 5-man unit struggling to keep pace. Your recruits walk behind you, whispering questions they do not voice aloud. Ahead, veterans stare forward with sunken eyes, already bracing for what waits. Then you see him. General Kai Feng, the man ordered to hold a river with an army assembled in 4 frantic days. He rides slowly along the column, studying faces drawn from every corner of the kingdom. Villages, border forts, unfinished training camps. Faces too young or too raw for a stand like this. Faces that tremble when they believe no one is watching. His jaw tightens at the sight. And I think I'm probably going to actually end the episode off here. As you can see, not every soldier is meant to become an officer. Most will die unnamed. A few will shape your legacy. Click or hover on cards to learn more about promising soldiers under your command. When the time is right, you'll assess their future roles in the unit. So you can see here, all characters have rarity tiers. Blue means rare, black means common, purple means elite, and gold means legendary. Your soldiers are assigned to your unit from the army's available pool. More characters will join your unit as you rise through the ranks. So at the moment, we are the 5-man leader. That's pretty cool. I like that. And indeed, as you can see right here, we have this fellow, Wei Jun, and we have Zhu Liang, and they actually both have some things, some traits right here, as you can see. Leads through the ranks, maintains cohesion under extreme strain, maintains operational effectiveness under extreme strain. Wow, he's really, really good. Shares battlefield awareness across the entire command structure. Yeah, battlefield intelligence. He's very, very intelligent by the looks of things. Okay, yeah, I think this game is actually fantastic. So far, I am very much enjoying it. Yeah, I have no complaints whatsoever at all. And if you want to check it out for yourself, there will be a link in the description. And they even have a little bit of a history for each individual character, as you can see right here. That's very, very cool. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.